Good afternoon, Dr. Jones.
Oh, boy, have you been out here a long time.
Indiana Jones and the Boobs of Destiny. I had the misfortune of watching this absolute trash fire of a movie yesterday, but guess what, boys and girls? I didn't have to go all the way to the cinema to watch the movie. No, thanks to the wonderful country of India, I found my own illegal copy to watch, and it took me less than a minute to find the file, which is really bad by my standards. It normally takes me 10 seconds, but hey, you know what? It was a 3 gigabyte file. I sat down, and quite clearly, I wish, like this gentleman, I could have got up near the end of the film and walked off.
Yes, Thames Television, the station with knockers. Excuse me, there's one now. Yes, can I help you?
Fade in, fade out. Fade in. Women, 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 fade out.
And what that really means is...
Did you know in Chicago a sister hocker Susan Snyder met a stickle sponge cake off an island side of Cincinnati, huh?
The name's Nukem. Duke Nukem. No, I'm not here to kick ass or chew bubblegum. I'm not here to get even with those alien bastards for shooting up my ride either. I'm here to tell you to watch Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog. So watch out for him and his babes of the 1980s. Oh, and one more thing. Hail to the king, baby.
So with that in mind, honestly, is this a really bad film like you've been told, like you've seen from other content creators? It absolutely is. I really don't know where to start, but I will start with the most embarrassing thing about the whole movie. That's not Phoebe Waller-Bridge, not yet, I will get to her, but just to watch a decrepit Harrison Ford barely running. Why isn't the guy on the Zinner frame already? I mean, good God, man. Look, I've got to talk about this because I haven't heard it in any other video, but the reason why Harrison Ford is still married to the character of Indiana Jones, because he believes that he owns it. He made that role. I mean, of course, you have to thank Steven Spielberg and George Lucas for creating the role of Dr. Jones, because Steven Spielberg for the longest time wanted to direct a James Bond movie, but he was never given the gloves to that kingdom, so he made his own version of Bond, which is Mr. Jones. And with that being said, if you saw Jurassic World, the first one with Chris Pratt, a lot of people, including myself, thought that he will be the best candidate to take over that role. But because Harrison Ford doesn't want anybody else to play Indiana Jones, it's only got to be him. That's where the downfall of this film pretty much lies on, because when you see the scenes of Indiana just, well, running like an old curmudgeon from spot A to spot B, it just looks really, really terrible. It's awful. Then you got John Rhys-Davies as Salah, Indy, my friend, and he is just, he's just embarrassing to look at. He's a great actor. I mean, this is the guy from Sliders. This is the guy who was Gimli in the original Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings films, and he's reduced to getting a paycheck and walking off into the sunset. It's such a... Man, it's awful. I'm glad Denham Elliott isn't here to see this, because if he was alive, I don't even know if he would partake in this. It is just so bad.
Boy, I'm glad to see you, son. I wish I could say the same, old friend.
Even John Williams' iconic score feels misplaced in a lot of scenes. Like, none of it exudes excitement or gets you pumped up, you know what I mean? At this stage, I would even say, like the original Indiana Jones films, even though Temple of Doom isn't like my favorite of that trilogy, God, Kate Capshaw as Willie Scott, Willie. She's a delight for the eyes, and I can see why she became Mrs. Spielberg much later on. But the plot of this movie, oh gosh, it's all about finding Archimedes' time decoding machine. Because Archimedes, we find out, studies features of time. Feature is also the medical term for... Yes, that's what I thought. Phoebe Waller-Bridge has Helena Shaw Wow, I mean, this woman she did fall off the ugly tree. I would actually argue she fell off the ugly tree that was on the very highest point of Mount Everest, tumbled all the way down the mountain, got up, and then this is the result of that tumble and grind all the way down to the rocks below. She is just awful. She's not engaging. She's not captivating. She's a real asshole. In fact, even when Antonio Banderas' character dies, she kind of double murders him because she blows the boat up after he's already been stabbed or shot to death. And Indy has to remind her later on, my friend died. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Even the chase sequence earlier on, I think it's in Morocco, it does remind me a hell of a lot of the Madagascar chase sequence in Uncharted 4. And of course, that video game, as much as a problematic game that it is, that sequence was fantastic. And I think James Mangold may have taken some inspiration from that particular sequence, because let's face it, video games are doing it way better than films these days. But Helena Shaw, oh, there is even one sequence, oh my god, I cannot believe I'm even saying this. So after she gives away this secrets to Mads Mikkelsen, and I'll get to him in a minute, about where to find Archimedes' time machine or time dial, she says to Harrison Ford, well, you know, I've actually made a copy. And he's like, well, how did you make a copy of your father's notes? Oh, it's all up here in her pea-sized brain. It's not based on 5 books, apparently. It's actually 7 notebooks that she's memorized every single page of. Really, Helena? And funny enough, in the film, we don't actually see her recalling her mental prowess on certain notes of the book. It's just like things just happen and that's it. She's so proficient, Helena, that she can do no wrong.
You memorized 5 notebooks. 7, and of course not. Half of them were as dull as ditch water.
But actually a couple of times she does make a couple of missteps because she gets usurped by Indiana, which is pretty funny. And of course, being an Indiana Jones film and being 2023, what do we get? The forced diversity in the shape of a female CIA black agent in the year 1969. And look, the actress who plays her is fine. The character is fine for the most part, except she does call her fellow Caucasian male CIA agent a cracker, which is just the weirdest thing ever. But can you imagine if that role was reversed, how it will look then? So I found that a little bit irritating, but she does get shot later on, which is pretty funny because there's nothing more they can do with their character. And their version of Short Round is okay. I think his name is Tilly or Teddy. It didn't really leave a lasting impression on me, unlike the original Short Round from Temple of Doom. So we have that to think about. Mads Mikkelsen, I don't know, man, what is it with this guy? I mean, he's a terrific actor, just like Harrison Ford, but it seems like he just signed on board for this film to get the paycheck. There's no nuance, there's no emotion in his performance. You don't really believe he's a big bad Nazi baddie.
I'm on my own now. Things move forward, Dr. Jones.
I mean, at one point he does ask a black waiter where he comes from. And when the waiter says to him, well, I'm from downtown Brooklyn, he's like, no, where do your people come from? You did have to kind of shove that in. So with that aside, Indiana Jones and the boobs of destiny, honestly, if we had this version of Indiana Jones, man, you'll be having my dollars every single day. Yeah, that's a version that might find on ph.com. But Kathleen Kennedy, well, if the rumors are to be believed, she's at loggerheads at the moment with Bob Iger at Disney Plus, and maybe next week or the week after, her diplomatic immunity might be revoked and she's booted out of Disney. But bearing in mind what happened to Victoria Alonso this year, where you thought she went out quietly and she came back and sued for a lot of money, I guess they don't want to go through that down that lane again, shall we say. But oh boy, man, this is not a good look for Indiana Jones. You've totally emasculated the dude. You could have put him in a better consultative role, perhaps, where he helps out a younger version of himself. Chris Pratt, I would say, would be the best choice, or maybe Scott Eastwood. I always like to use Scott Eastwood's name a lot because he's an up-and-coming actor. Maybe even Bradley Cooper could have been an interesting Indiana Jones, but I don't know. you know, to get a big star name like Bradley Cooper to headline a role that maybe he doesn't really want to play. And I guess, you know, this franchise is pretty much dead in the water. And what more can I say, folks? Indiana Jones and the Diapers of Destiny, it's a shit show. But if, like me, you don't want to spend £17 to go to your local Cineworld, by all means, pirate the hell out of this film, watch it at your own leisure. It's a slog to get through, and there are some unintentionally funny bits, especially if a member of the audience gets up and walks away, or you get these gambling commercials popping up every half an hour in the movie. So on that one, folks, if you enjoyed my review today, I know it's a week late coming, but boy, you know, I didn't want to get to the cinema. Leave a like below, smash the subscribe button, and if I were you, and if you were me, you better catch me on the next video.
Okay, so he's like running the show now?
He's not running the show, Teddy.
What?
Who is this man?
I'm her godfather.
What? Huh? Okay. Yeah, you see this part here where Miss Waller-Bridge tries to interrupt? Do you think she's saying, I'm actually Indiana Jones Mark II? It's me!
I'm still in charge, Teddy.
Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
The First Amendment and boobs. So those are the only two things I believe in absolutely in the country.